Captain America is getting a buff. Storm is getting a buff. Starlord's getting a buff. It's actually looking pretty good. We got some balance adjustment changes. I'll have this in the pinned comment if you want to follow along, or just go straight to the link. That's totally fine. I understand. With that being said, subscribe, like all the garbage that us YouTubers say that no one ever does. Let's go ahead and get into it here. So it is 9:15 Wednesday. Here's the times when it's getting released. I'm not going to bother going all through them. You can pause the video if you want. Here you go. Balance adjustments. Captain America. So currently, Captain America is on the bottom of a lot of people's tier list. I've talked about already how I feel about tier list. I've said currently that I think Captain America is quite good in it for a few reasons. A large chunk of that being his ability to guard break. He was kind of in contention with Spider-Man for some of the highest guard break, and I think Captain America, with these latest changes, is now basically the guard break king. I think with this, he's more than likely going to almost instantly guard break and CC people in PvP, and you can kind of see why here. They don't really change the damage of his abilities, but they add him to be invulnerable to debuffs during his ultimate. I think this is great because now he can't be stopped, and then, you know, people do damage, he reflects it back. We have already seen how that works. Really cool. But now all of his moves from Unbreakable Will, Sentinel of Liberty, and Reporting for Duty, all of these here, all of these skill masteries, I should say here, are going to be having their versions increase. So you can see it's going from medium to high, high to highest, medium to high, medium to high, medium to high, medium to high, high to highest, and then low to medium, high to highest. The highest, I should really point out, when it goes from high to highest, this is a huge deal because not many moves in the entire game have this, and he just got 3 more of them. And then precise attack went from medium to high as well. So all the lows went to medium, and he has mostly high and highest now for guard break, meaning that he is going to do 2 things well. He's going to, I think this was a nice way of handling this change. One of which is his PvP viability is going to become one of his CC'er. So you can guard break people into the stuns and all that garbage, provoke, whatever you were going to do, I guess, right? Although I don't really know if provoke quite does anything on people, but you get the idea. You can guard break people into whatever CC, cocoon if you have somebody, you know, next to you, but in Dimension Duel, mostly just the guard break stun. However, it also increases his PvE support viability because we're not sure how the bosses coming to the game are going to be and if guard breaking is going to be a strategy for them. Guard break is a cool mechanic, and as time goes on, they could have the guard break mechanic become you know, a type of thing you actually have to do on bosses in order to deal damage, and maybe they get guard broke, you know, and it gets refreshed, and you have to guard break them again, but you guard break them quickly or something like that. And for that reason, I could see Captain America now almost becoming unbalanced. Like, I could see this being such a change that this almost tips him to the other end because of how many of these abilities here going to high and highest. So I really think that this was a much needed change for him. And I really like that they singled out the personality instead of just changing numbers and being kind of boring with it. They singled out his personality as a combo stun, lock, CC'er type, and really put more high risk, high reward for the people that can get on top. I kind of like the mentality of this change so far, but I would have to lean to more Captain America players, but I do like that change. Starlord, I think, is an interesting change here. Basically I'll explain to you. Basically what they did is that before his, you could call it his passive, basically allows him to stack debuffs on people, either fire, chill, you know, shock, whatever it is, depending upon what variant of the moves he's using. So you can do like chill builds or you know, shock builds, fire builds. And it used to be kind of difficult to get all those to apply, so they lowered the stack required from 8 to 7. I would have liked to see also a duration increase for how long his debuffs last as well, but I'm not going to say I understand Starlord well enough to really make that assessment. Either way, I like that they're really adjusting his stacks. Once again, it looks like they're kind of addressing more the personality of each character and trying to utilize that more, which I'm a fan of. And then improve the skill to fire lasers while tracking the enemy's location during the skill. Basically, some moves track location, some don't. For instance, like Spider-Man's yo-yo would track the person while they move, and some abilities won't, like, the grenade won't track during the move. And I think this is essentially what they're referring to with this change here. And then they increase the guard break from medium to high on the explosion crescendo version of Problem Solver. So not a huge buff. The change in stacks is the most notable one here. I don't know if that's a huge change for him. I mean, you can see it just there in the numbers. It's just a little bit here. And especially considering from when we move down the Storm here, Storm gets the same thing for her shock and chill effects as well here. So she also gets that ability too. It goes from the shock requiring 8 to 7, etc., which will be nice because she applies shock very quickly with her specialties, as I've gone over in one of my guides. So I play a lot of Storm. I could consider her one of my main characters. I'll show you just for a quick second here. I'm actually playing on her right now. You can see I got just about 1 million power on her. I got the Hydra set. That's what I'm using. I like the Lightning build. Moving back over here, that's my prerequisite for saying that I don't think this 15% damage matters. I do think that this one matters. So the 15% damage is on Wind Slash, which isn't really a move that anyone uses, especially because Pressure Manipulation has 2 competitive slots, one of which is Updraft because it's sort of the guard-breaking 1v1 move for Dimension Duel. And the fact that they increase that from medium to high is nice, and decrease the cast time is nice. This is a good 1v1 PvP type of change buff. I like that. The fact that all the Deep Freeze guard breaks go from low to medium helps mildly because, unfortunately, the majority of the time that you're using your deep free moves are defensively, like the ice one, right? Where you go in your ice block, or the other ice one where you have your shield up. It's kind of nice that they're giving this a little bit more offensive utility to try to help a little bit, I think, with the 1v1s, because the 1v1s can be quite rough in Dimension Duel, especially during the fact that she doesn't really have hardcore CC, so you're really trying to guard break, and most of the time your guard breaks. With the addition of this, now you have a little bit more guard break options, but most of the time your single target damage is also low guard break. So this is a decent change. It's a nice buff. I'll accept it. I don't think Storm was in a complete terrible position. I think she's slightly underrated because she's a little bit difficult to play and can get caught out very easily, but she has good damage, especially good PvE damage. This is a pretty decent buff, but it's not going to push her over the top. That's what I see in this anyways, my personal opinion. They talk about they fixed some bugs that aren't really anything that really matters here, something about missing collectibles. There's some new events coming, like they already mentioned, and I'm talking about in the patch. And then they talk about new bundles here. These bundles in particular are definitely for people pay the winning. I'll give you an idea. This right here, I think, is because they watched some of either my content, or they just looked at the data for the whales and realized that what the whales really need are particles to crunch the gear. This is in particular so that I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, let me give you an actual bit of data so you can see this. When you look at these accounts, right, and we're going through our gear, we have tons and tons of regional gear we need to level. And because of that, we need to crunch up tons and tons and tons of just fodder, additional 3-star fodder that we have, right? Look at this. I got 95 of these just sitting, just floating in here. And I don't have the particles to crunch these up, or else all of my gear would be either nano fusioned, or I'd have 6-star of all the different things, etc. I need particles. And what they realize is that whales, oftentimes myself included, and I know my tendencies, won't go out and farm these particles by just sitting there and grinding them all the time, but they will spend $25 or whatever they're going to put these packs out for to buy particles so that they can crunch stuff up. So basically, they're getting more monetization out of people that bought stuff. So I bought costumes, and now I need to be able to crunch my costumes up, and they're just getting more money out of that. That's fine. I mean, it's more pay-to-win options. For the people that are mad at pay to win, you're going to be mad because this is going to allow pay to win people to have a quicker crunching of gears and give you a little bit more distance in their nano fusions between you and the free-to-play people. I would just say get used to it. Free-to-play people are going to be left behind pretty quickly. I would know I got a level 100 free-to-play on one of the new servers. Yeah, just kind of get used to that. They're going to be coming out with new packs. And we also know the new levels coming to the game. They're probably going to be monetizing that somehow as well. So I would get kind of used to that. I will say the Gold Future membership, this needs to not be their solution for the Gold problems they mentioned earlier. They said that they know that there's Gold problems and they're going to look into it, and now they're selling Gold. That's not the solution I want to see. Just going to throw that out there. I know that there's free crystos in there, etc. But I don't like that they're now selling Gold in the daily pack. Even if it does come with the particles and all that, just give us more Gold. Gold feels like something that people shouldn't have to buy. I've bought Gold. Every time I've bought just Gold, it felt like a stupid purchase. I think it is a stupid purchase. And personally, just give us more Gold. That's something you should give us for free. That's my message. New special tokens here. This is actually kind of cool. These are lower graded ones, the Elite 4, the 5s. So now I think what these are is, you know how you can only buy like for 200 tokens, the 5-star ones? I think this is for like the free-to-play people that are saving up their Omega points. Like I have almost like 120 or something Omega points on my free-to-play, and being able to get just a 4-star out of that with some Omega points in a realistic time frame, or even have a stab at a 5-star or something, I can understand why they're putting some lower ones in there. Plus, from their brain, it's probably like, okay, well, this is going to bait people to use their points when they have lower amounts so they don't save up to get the real big prizes that we want people to instead spend money for. I get all that. They're discontinuing the Elite 5 ones instead. This here is kind of a bummer, because instead we can look back and be like, oh, now they just want to be the 4-2 5-star instead of just 5-star. These prices need to be significantly lower, because previously you could just buy 5-star and that was an easy way to be like, okay, I need a 6-star piece of gear. Let me just acquire these here. And it was a pay-to-win way to just get 6-star basically. And I think that may or may not be why they're adjusting this and making it more RNG reliant. So these prices need to be appropriate in my personal opinion, or else that's going to be a thumbs down from me on that one. That's it for the bundos and character rebalances. Pretty okay with the character rebalances. Storm got a buff just because I honestly don't understand. I mean, I guess this one is a buff that I would have been like, okay, that's a nice smooth buff. This one's just weird to me. It's a weird move. If you're gonna give us 15% damage, I don't understand why you give it to me on this move. Maybe there's something about this one I don't understand, or something about this one they want us to use for PvP that I don't get. I would just give us 15% more on the ice cube or something. It's hard to use the ice cube in PvP in a meaningful manner other than receiving or stopping damage from being received. People are smart enough to dodge it at this point, or at least the good players are. So, and it's telegraphed very well in advance. So maybe, give us 15% damage on this 6 ice Hellstones, because that one we have to take instead of the defensive one. So give us a reward for risk. In fact, double the damage of that one or something. Give us a risk for a reward. I think would have been a better use of a buff there. Starlord, I don't understand enough to give good feedback, but I like the fact that they're at least trying with the stacks. And Captain America, I think, is like an awesome. Like, I love the fact that they're doubling down and just making him a ridiculous guard break. I mean, I think this is going to be real top tier now, in my personal opinion. That's it. That's my feelings on this patch. I like the breakdown. The bundos, waiting to see the price points. I'm kind of iffy on the bundos. I have some points I mentioned earlier about it. And that's it. Love y'all. See you on the next video.